Hey guys, so I recently came across this YouTube channel, Kevin Samuels, and not only did I come across this guy in YouTube, I'm not even sure how I found him on YouTube or YouTube thought I'd be interested in this guy's video. It was because of that Jackson dude, that the relationship coach who coached women on men cheating was actually cheating himself on, on women. I can't remember the guy's name, but it was a big black guy, Jackson somebody. So Kevin Samuels, I think, I watched that video because I was so fascinated by this. YouTube linked me to this Kevin Samuels guy. But this good-looking black guy in Atlanta, Georgia. He's based in Atlanta. I think he's originally from Brooklyn. Because a lot of my Brooklyn high school friends on Instagram follow this guy. So I wouldn't be surprised if you went to my high school in Brooklyn, South Shore High School. I'm not sure if he did. Because just coincidentally, all my Brooklyn friends from my high school follow this guy who lives in Atlanta or is, based in Atlanta. His thing is he gives relationship advice to women on finding Mr. Right, and from an interesting perspective, a lot of what he does I like. I like that he interviews women and let them talk. He's not just a talking head that's blurting advice out to women. And then the flip side of his channel, when I watched his earlier videos, he was giving advice to men on being kind of like James Bond is what James Bond kind of personality is what I call him. The guy that wears the suit, he eats at nice restaurants. Everyone knows his name, but we don't know what he does for a living. So it's very interesting. But I think a lot of what his relationship advice is are the people he has on his channel. Usually single, disgruntled women above 30 who complain that men are they can't find their Mr. Right, so they sort of blame men for that by saying men aren't good enough for them. A lot of that I agree with, but when it comes to marriage, I think a lot of his stuff is very, very off-centered. It's missing the point. One of the things, he interviewed a young woman, I think she was a nurse or she works at a hospital. She was saying when she does marry, she's going to be married for love, but she doesn't want kids right now, but the guy would have to persuade her, convince her that she should have kids. And I saw that interview. It was a recent one. It was maybe 2 days ago he put that up. And I was like, oh my God, that's like such bad information to give people. One, don't get married. Don't enter marriage for love, right? My parents, my grandparents, day and time, marriage for love made sense. In 2021, marriage for love doesn't really make sense. There's just too many things going on in the world with people that marrying someone based on only you love them is very, very wrong. I would not recommend that. Now, my wife, we met in college over 15 years ago. We both in college, and we're college sweethearts. And we dated for about 10 to 12 years before we got married. And that was because we both were in our careers. My wife wanted to achieve some things before having kids and starting a family. And at her age, she hit all the marks of her target. She wanted kids at a certain age. She wanted this at a certain age. She hit all those marks. Simply because I was a supportive husband. I was a supportive boyfriend at the time. And she also supported me in my endeavors. And we kind of hit our targets, and it wasn't like hard targets. And that's the thing too. You don't go into marriage or any relationship with any hard goal or hard targets, right? And the Kevin Samuel guys, I'm not even sure a lot of the opinions on his channel come from him or the women he has on his channel. But don't go into marriage with any hard goals. Don't say by 5 years I want that. 6 years, it does not work like that, right? People are people, right? You can't contain people in boxes and a calendar of what you want, right? Especially when you meet people later in life. I always think about, like, if I was single now, right? How hard would it be to meet someone my age, right? Over 30, between 30 and 40 in their profession that's still single and don't have kids. How hard would it be, right? Would I be at a nightclub? Where would I even meet someone that's like that, right? Maybe at work, I think, is the best place, I think, in a working profession. don't meet people in nightclubs, right? Um, I've never met a girl I've dated, and like I said, I've been with my wife since college, so, and I've been out with my single guy friends, and they meet girls in nightclubs, and it never ends well. Rarely ever I hear a story where someone meet a girl at a nightclub or a strip club even, and it ended like in a happy marriage 30, 40 years later, and they have kids, and the kids are grown and they have grandkids. Never heard that story have a happy ending. But my point is, right, I can give you advice because I'm married and I have 2 kids, and I've been with my wife over 15 years. We're college sweethearts. We set goals for ourselves, but when it came to our relationship together, we didn't set hard goals. My wife, she tried to early on. She said, oh, if I want to get married by 10 was our wedding date. Then it got pushed forward a couple of years. But she realized quickly that I'm crazy and it's not going to work like that, you know. So don't set hard goals. And if you don't meet hard goals, don't. And I think that's a problem too. Like a lot of older women, when you're not older, but when you're over a certain age, you kind of look around like everyone's getting married, everyone's having kids. If I'm meeting a guy, I'm gonna try to wrap this up as quickly as possible with hard goals. You know, the 15 I need that, the 30th I need that, next year I need that. It's not gonna work. Set soft goals for yourself that's flexible. So instead of saying I want to get married October 10, 2010, say I want to get married in the year of 2010. Or after 2010, we should start thinking about marriage, right? Another thing too is if you're entering a relationship, don't be too into yourself. You have to give something up. When me and my wife moved in together, we had Brita filters, right? I had my own Brita filter, she had her own, right? And actually, it's right here. Her Brita filter, my Brita filter, right? But we only have space for one Brita filter in our kitchen, so I got rid of my Brita filter. My Brita filter was older anyway, and hers was newer and more advanced. So it was only space for one Brita filter. So that's how you have to approach marriage and relationships. And you can't bring all your stuff to a relationship. You got to leave some stuff at your parents' house or some stuff in your old apartment. You can't bring everything to your new relationship or your marriage. And I think that's where a lot of things fail. Like people bring personality. I'm talking about personalities and egos. Trim some of it off. You remember, you're melding with someone else, right? And I think that's the 2 biggest advice I could give someone. Don't do hard targets for a potential spouse, and leave some of your stuff at your mom's crib or your parents' house. Don't bring all that stuff with you, right? Because you're with someone, you gotta meld and make it work, right? I know society today in 2021 rewards individual success over group success. Even though we're trying to go towards that way, individual success, like your Rambo, your James Bond, even, you know, that hero, that leader, that one person, we want to give them all the plaudits. But you know, marriage is not like that. You're not James Bond. You're not whatever. You're part of someone else, and you have to share the good and the bad with that person. And I think a lot of it is sharing, and we're not brought up anymore with sharing. I think even my kids, they have my son is 2, my daughter was 4. My daughter was like 3, and my son was like an infant when they both had separate iPads. They didn't want to share, and as parents, we didn't want to deal with that. So my son has his own iPad. My daughter has her own iPad, and they're like not even 5 yet when they had these devices, and so they're, you know, like, but me and my brother as kids, I had a younger brother, and we shared everything: toys, clothing, food. We shared, you know, and that's how we were brought up. So today, I think we're just brought up such individuals. We don't want to share anything when we enter relationships. So that's all I'm gonna say on this. But this Kevin Tamma guy is very interesting. His fashion advice is kind of old school. But the guy, I mean, I can't compete with the guy. I have 4 subscribers on my channel. He has like almost 1 million subscribers in his channel. A lot of people listen to what this guy is saying. But I think a lot of his information, I don't think he's married, and I don't think he has kids. I don't think he's a doctor or a psychologist for relationships. I'm not sure. So just and even a Jackson dude a couple weeks ago, ladies and gentlemen, single people, young people, don't take advice from YouTube people. Don't even take advice from me. And any advice you take from me, take it with a grain of salt. Don't like, I'm not the expert on this. No one's the expert in anything. Even experts would say that they're not expert in stuff they're experts on. So just everything's evolving. Relationships are evolving. Like I said, had I met my wife today, I probably wouldn't have. I probably wouldn't have. We haven't come as far as we did. Simply because of the time and age we're in now. I met my wife before cell phones and smartphones were a thing, before Instagram was a thing. Right? Now my wife, when she's bored, she's on Instagram all the time, right? And I'm doing YouTube videos, and I'm always editing and working on this all the time. I'm out, not this channel, but I have 2 other channels. So take everything you hear with a grain of salt, and that's my message for today.